Uh-oh. Do you think it's on purpose where it's like they have two conflict, because my ultimate problem with the entire sphere is that, like, on one hand we have people who are just leftist who are posing as liberal so that they can blend in and wreck the party, and on the other hand you have people who want to appeal to moderates because they argue that you need the moderates to win the election, right, to win the next election, right? Like, these are the two hells, right? Like the two ultimate frustrations, right? Like, Pisco is on the is on the left, where like, Pisco is the first issue and Hutch is the second issue, right? Anyway,
So Destiny, you
oh,
have
it's not
made
leftist.
statements
No,
such as
no, I'm just saying in general, like, that is the two hells,
conservatives
right?
need to be afraid of getting killed when they go to their events so that they turn
Uh-oh.
down the temperature. You repeatedly refuse to condemn the murder of
Okay, who said who is
Charlie
that?
Kirk.
Who is that?
I won't
Give
woo
them a
over
medal.
that. And after his murder, you tweeted making fun of his death, saying,
Who
I
was
heard
that?
when he died, he fed an entire village of vampires
Gatorade? That's
because
not
so much
Gatorade.
blood
That's a
came
water
out of his
bottle.
neck. Following the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, which killed one of his supporters, you said that you have zero sympathy for anything that happens to him or to anyone who supports him.
Bro, if only people were as prepared as this, okay? Like, why can't people just, like, actually bring quotes that they've said? Why can't people, like, actually, I don't know, bring what what you've actually said? Like, just actually bring receipts for once. Wait,
You
hold
have
on.
so,
I want to
so
listen to
Destiny,
this again.
you have made
Sorry.
statements such as conservatives need to be afraid of getting killed when they go to their events so that they turn down the temperature. You repeatedly refuse to condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk. I won't woo over that. And after his murder, you tweeted making fun of his death, saying, I heard when he died, he fed an entire village of vampires because so much blood came out of his neck.
I didn't even see that tweet. I didn't even know that tweet occurred. Really? That tweet occurred? I didn't even know. Seriously, I didn't even know.
Following the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, which killed one of his supporters, you said that you have zero sympathy for anything that happens to him or to anyone who supports him. You have also said that your only regret is that Trump's assassin didn't spend enough time practicing first. So there are a couple of things wrong with this. First, it's hypocritical. You cannot claim that Trump is a threat to democracy while simultaneously calling for political assassinations, which are a threat to democracy. You have also criticized left-wing figures for doing the same thing, like when the streamer Hassan tweeted a picture of a makeshift gun at Senator Tom Cotton. Second, it's immoral. As a public live streamer with millions of viewers, you make it more likely that someone in your audience will take matters into their own hands and start killing off conservatives. Especially as a study by the Center for Strategic and International Studies found that left-wing political violence now outnumbers right-wing political violence.
Oh! Just by the way, okay? All right. Whenever you are a liberal and you're trying to say appeal to the moderates, this is who you're appealing to, okay? Somebody who is just deliberately wrong, okay? Someone just straight up wrong. Okay, good one. Okay, just so you know.
Third, it's bad for the country. Your rhetoric amplifies the extreme left and right.
Dang.
When conservative influencers like Matt Walsh say that the left wants me dead, your statements provide proof to that claim. There's a reason why extreme left-wingers like Hassan retweeted your statements about Trump's assassination. Political polarization destroys politics at the state and national levels when parties are unwilling to work together, and the Journal of Democracy finds a clear link between political polarization and political violence. And fourth, I think it's bad for you personally. You could be much more influential than you are right now if you didn't make extreme and hateful statements like these. You have a history of doing this that exceeds Republican behavior. You were deplatformed from Twitch for inciting violence during the BLM riots, and the mayoral candidate with whom you campaigned with had to cut ties with you for your hateful.
I'm pretty sure that's not true, right? Like, didn't Steven said himself that the reason why it was deplatformed was because it was something about transphobia or some shit? Like, something about transgender people, right?
Rhetoric. And since your goal is to help Democrats, I'd say that your rhetoric harms the movement that you claim to support. Ultimately, you are personally responsible for the extreme and divisive political climate that you critique. Your rhetoric inflames the American political climate. And I think that you have a net negative impact on the political space.
About trans stuff? Okay. God.
Jeez. Okay, so for my response to this is something that I've been stressing to people. There are two things that people see, and there's a third thing that people don't see. When it comes time to be civil in a conversation, both sides have to agree to that. One side can't agree and the other side not agree, and one side can't force agreement on that. And this is a thing that conservatives have been relying on liberals not understanding for decades. When one person, comes into an area to start a fight with another person, that other person fighting back is not being hypocritical, is not being immoral, and is certainly not engaging in the same action as the person who came in to start the fight. So when it comes to speaking about, say, you talk about how I never condemned the murder of Charlie Kirk, or I never said that the murder of Charlie Kirk is bad. It's actually not true. On that Piers episode where I was fighting with all the conservatives about it, I think twice on that show I said, yeah, nobody should be getting killed for political violence in the United States, but the right will not say this. And that is an unacceptable world where one side of this country has continuously, over and over again, disavowed political violence. I'm talking about like the political leaders. I'm talking about the Joe Bidens, the Barack Obamas. I'm talking about the differences when the assassination attempt was made against Donald Trump. Joe Biden gave a speech. He didn't blame either side. He said that everybody just needed to bring things down. He didn't mention that the shooter was Republican. He didn't blame Trump for his rhetoric. When Donald Trump was supposedly being hunted by Iran, Biden increased his Secret Service personnel, even though he had no obligation to. Meanwhile, Donald Trump stripped Secret Service protections from Kamala Harris and other Democrats as soon as he was in office because he, I won't say what his motivations were. I don't even know if he knows what his motivations are sometimes. And Donald Trump continues to do one-sided attacks against only one section of the country when it comes to calling for people to stop being violent. He went on Fox and Friends a day or two after Charlie Kirk was dead, and he said that when the left wing does violence, it's because they're evil. When the right wing does violence, it's just because they're just tired of the left wing doing it. When Biden was running for president, he had to disavow all the violence of the BLM protests. When Donald Trump ran for president the second and third time, he did it with the promise of pardoning every single January 6ther and every single person around him that was engaged in seditious conspiracy or a number of other crimes that were doing it to further Trump's interests. And he followed through with all of those pardons. When it comes to violent rhetoric, I'll make a lot of jokes. Now, conservatives supposedly make a lot of jokes. They said, I remember when Elon bought X that comedy was legal again. Apparently it's not, because I catch a lot of heat for some of my tweets, but they have no problem when it comes time to making jokes about Paul Pelosi, when he was almost beat to death by a guy in his house with a hammer, only because the cops showed up. The guy didn't get to go through with it. They have no problem making jokes or conspiracy theories about different shooters. Donald Trump didn't even acknowledge the death of the two Minnesotan lawmakers, or the one Minnesota lawmaker and her husband, and the other one that was attempted to be killed. When he was asked about this in the White House, he said, who? He didn't even remember it. This environment is not equal. So all this is said, and the most common response to me is basically, well, aren't you just making it
Wait, what's the debate format?
worse? So I don't think that standing there and allowing yourself to have the most unbelievably inflammatory, hateful, disgusting, threatening remarks made at you as a side over and over and over again by one side and remaining quiet, I don't think that there is any virtue in that. I think insofar as you allow yourself to be ran over and destroyed by one side that has absolutely no limitations on how they conduct themselves, I just don't see what the virtue is in that. I've heard people online who have said things like, I was going to make this joke about this particular thing, but I know if I say this, Destiny's going to come at me and make this comment about it, so I'm not going to say anything about it. I think it's good that if you're a conservative and you read something that I say and that really, really pisses you off, really gets the snowflake twinkling or whatever, if that happens, good. I think you should feel upset. And maybe, just maybe, the next time Trump makes an unhinged tweet or truth, maybe a conservative stops and thinks, maybe it's not okay to just support these statements as trolls or memes or epic jokes. And maybe if I'm trying to hold a YouTuber I'm watching online more accountable for his speech than I am the president of the United States, maybe there's something that's deeply wrong and flawed with that system that the conservatives could step back and take a look at.
I respond? Okay. So What I'm not calling for is for you or for Democrats at large to remain quiet, right? What I think I'm clearly calling for you is to not do the same thing that you're critiquing conservatives and Republicans for doing. If you think that's bad when Trump says inflammatory rhetoric, or if a conservative calls for a Democrat to be killed, you can no longer criticize that practice when you then turn around and say, I actually want the conservatives to be being killed. And
Yo, hey. I'm a guy. I'm a guy.
What? Fuck.
New donor. I don't think you've ever donated before, right? Gabriel. Thank you so much for the five gifted memberships. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Why is my girlfriend a top in bed? And I'm not talking about food shops. Fuck.
I want Trump to be the one who's getting killed.
You recognize that my position is not the same as them, though, right? That when they say it's funny and hilarious when the left gets killed and we're going to never recognize our side, that when I say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to copy the same stuff you do until you're willing to mutually accept that we stop, that these positions aren't the same, because they're never willing to stop, right?
Okay, so do you think that that's what's going to happen? You think that you going out there and saying conservatives need to be killed is going to lead to the conservatives saying, oh yeah, I really want to compromise with this person. I want to work together with the Democratic Party.
So I've never said that conservatives need to be killed. Okay, I've never said that.
Wait, so you said specifically that they need to...
Oh, okay. She's doing the soy pill thing. Soy pill thing. She does not believe Stephen when he says that he doesn't want conservatives to be killed or he wants to incite stochastic violence, right? When Stephen is trying to practice tit for tat, right? Because I think that ultimately there is a difference between stoking violence without tit for tat and matching stoking violence via tit for tat, right? Like one is not the same as another, right? Like, just to be very clear. I mean, if you want to like frame it as like stoking violence, like whatever, you can say that. However, ultimately, the purpose behind the statement is different, right? Like the purpose behind the statement isn't because, well, the purpose behind the statement isn't, well, I want this to happen. I want violence against Republicans to happen, even if the Republicans never did it. The implication is that the Republicans have already done this, so therefore it would be a disadvantage, right, if we didn't do the same thing, right? That is tit for tat, or like, But she's doing the Fed post thing. She's doing the Fed post thing where it's like, or the soy post. I don't fucking know. Okay, she's doing the thing. She's doing the thing where soy pill was like, well, Stephen, I don't think you actually believe that. Why do you actually believe it? Come on, Stephen. Why do you actually believe in this? Right?
Be afraid of getting killed so that they turn down the temperature. But how is someone afraid of getting killed unless there's a threat to their life?
Yes,
sure. So if you saw more than just what Jesse Waters.
Yes, you got it. He's saying they should be concerned and afraid because of the environment they created. Exactly. Yes. Okay. Holy fuck. You put it so well.
Decided to show on his program on Fox. The entire conversation I'm having there is that when conservatives talk about violence in the United States, it's like a sexy, fun thing for them. And when liberals talk about it, it seems to be more of like a fearful thing. Like, hey, we all need to stop. When I hear conservatives talk about violence in the United States, they seem excited for it. And I think there's no fear there. And I think they should be afraid. There was never a call for violence. And if you listen to anything I've said, like, I'm out here doing these events. Clearly, I don't want people getting shot out here because I'm probably going to be the first one to go if that actually happens. What I'm saying is that, like, you can't speak about these things. Like, there needs to be a healthy sense of fear that, like, if we continue to escalate, we're going to end up in like some civil war status, because conservatives act fearless when it comes to their rhetoric.
Yeah, but again, the same thing I would say, which I don't think was addressed, is do you think it's an effective strategy to get one side to negotiate with you to say that you're okay with them dying and it doesn't bother you if they get killed?
I think it's more effective than allowing them to do it, like, unimpugned, yeah.
Wouldn't it be more effective to say it's bad when they do it, and that's how you can win voters to then get elected?
That didn't work last time, did it?
Oh, so you think just because Biden lost one election, that means that MAGA Republicans rule the country, and that Democrats have no chance of winning unless they become authoritarian themselves?
I think Democrats will win the next set of elections, but I think the fact that Trump won says something is deeply wrong with the American public right now and is deeply wrong with our discourse. If Kamala would have won all 7 swing states, it wouldn't have been as much of a landslide as it should have been in that election. The reality is that the president makes on a daily basis unhinged.
Biden didn't lose though. I'm assuming she's referring to the second matchup. Unless she's referring to 2020.
Tweets that would dwarf the entirety of an ordinary Democratic president's tweet history
crossed.
combined. I can probably find some of these tweeted today or yesterday that he said that's worse than the totality of everything said in his entire administration for Obama, for Biden, for any of the Clintons. But Trump won his second election. So what happened there? Do you think that there's some virtue in Democrats just continuing to nod their heads and play along with Republicans and not act like all of the unhinged, insane rhetoric is coming from one side?
Yeah, again, I don't think that Democrats just need to go along with things. I think that criticizing one side, saying that they're engaging in some authoritarian practices or that they have very inflammatory rhetoric is an effective tactic, especially when you're not doing the same thing. You lose your ability to criticize one side if you advocate for your political side of the aisle to do the very same thing to conservatives.
If my position isn't the same, how do you lose the ability to advocate for it? If somebody comes into a room screaming and I say, okay, well, I'm going to scream at the guys, I guess, until you stop, our positions aren't the same. That person is just screaming for no reason.
Hi, Food Shops. Hello, Shinier Toaster. Hello. Hi, Slut. Why would you call me that? That hurts my feelings.
My position is responsive to their position. I don't
Sure.
That's how civility works. It's responsive to the other person's civility.
But what you're arguing is what, for instance, like Trump and conservatives are doing is a threat to democracy, right?
Yes.
And then you're saying, therefore, Democrats ought to do something which is also a threat to democracy.
It's
you see
better
how you
to have
lose the ability to criticize the first thing?
That's like saying that like if the North goes to war against the South, they lose the ability to criticize the South for seceding from the Union.
Sorry if I'm not sorry if I'm not commentating much, okay? I promise I'm listening to every word. I am listening to every word. It's just that, like, you guys already heard the same spiel from me. I want to make sure that if I am giving, like, comments here and there, I want to make sure that, it's something new. It's a little bit something new, right? Because you guys have already heard everything I have to say about, moderates and playing the same game and the whole moderate stuff over and over again. I sound like a broken record.
Disagree with that. If one side is going to conduct themselves in a violent manner, then the other side should be able to conduct themselves similarly.
So just to be clear, you think if Democrats get into office, they should do a January 6th style insurrection because conservatives already did it, right? So why not just let fire go, right?
Well, I mean, no, right? Like, I probably wouldn't support a January 6th insurrection, probably, unless maybe like if Trump if Trump literally took power again. Like, yeah, then maybe. But like, bro, dude, it's just we can't live like this, There has to be some form of countrywide recognition of how far we have fallen, right? Does that make sense? Like, there has to be a countrywide recognition, a countrywide wake-up call, right? Whether that be the Nuremberg trials that Destiny has proposed or by breaking the Constitution in order to go after someone, right? There has to be something that would rectify the situation in such a way where something like this never happens again, right? At least in the near future, because who knows what the fuck might happen in the future, right? Like, there has to be some fixing of the public narrative. Like, oh my God, there has to be something. Like, there has to be something. It's just, fuck. The way that everything has gone down, right? I don't know.
If we do it, hopefully we don't fail like they did. Okay. I think that there need to be severe repercussions for the current administration, up to and including anything that related to the Department of Justice, related to investigations, related to what maybe creative interpretations of the law, like the conservatives have taken upon themselves to do. Yeah, because right now, the pattern that we've set in the United States is that if you're a conservative, you can do basically whatever you want, and at the end of the day, the Democrats are going to show up to not only clean up your mess, but pretend you didn't do it and then try to play along with you.
So then what bothers me about that is Democrats really can't claim to be the party of democracy when you, again, make statements like this that, it'd be fine and actually preferable for us to create an insurrection.
This is like fighting a concern troll. Like, this is what fighting a concern troll is like. Uh, like, do you guys understand how hard it is to fight a concern troll now? Like, not hard, but frustrating, right? If that makes sense. It's like someone who's trying to look out, someone who claims to be looking out for your best interests, but you can't prove that you can't prove at the moment that they're actually not looking out for your best interests, right? They're actually looking out for your destruction, but they're using your best interests in order to lead you to your destruction, right? Like, how do you fight a concern troll, right? Like, how the fuck do you fight a concern troll? Like, if you just go out and say, well, I don't think you actually care about any of this, right? Well, now you just sound like an asshole, right? And what if you're wrong, right? So you can't just claim, oh yeah, I don't think you actually care about this. Like, for example, the one time that it worked for me was when I think I called out, God, what's his name? Fuck. I don't even remember his name. Oh yeah, Eden Underground, right? Do you guys remember Eden Underground? God, I don't even remember anymore. These people are like just who make loads for me. Bro, this Aiden Underground guy, like when he debated me, I was like, dude, we all know that you're bullshitting. We all know that you're doing concern trolling. We all know that you're doing this, like you're not actually working for my best interest. We all know you're doing this, right? But the reason why I'm comfortable saying that is because I genuinely know that. Like, I know that this person specifically is a concern troll. This person is an anti-fan of Destiny, and he is doing a concern troll, right? Like, trying to tell me to concern troll about doxing, or trying to dig up malicious information or something like that. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just silly. Okay, no, I'm not gonna tolerate, like, these fucking weird-ass comments. Like, I'm just going to read this here because, like, just so you know what kind of comments I don't tolerate, okay? Imagine complaining that your girlfriend wants to do the work. Yeah, I think she had an alternative motive for coming up, giving 90% chances she might bang Tiny after debate. Hopefully he gets ID first. Okay, listen, I don't care whether or not you're an anti-fan or a fan, okay? If you're going to make weird fucking comments in my chat about any woman who comes up to debate or, like, or hops on stream or anything like that, I'm just gonna ban you, okay? Like, I'm not gonna do that.
I would overthrow the democracy to instate forever democratic
Just, by the way, okay, whenever somebody says that, it's projection, okay? You are the one that wants to ban Destiny, okay?
rule, right? So would you agree that you can no longer
or you're the one fantasizing about the woman banging you, but then you're always going to be alone and maidenless.
criticize Trump or conservatives for being a threat to democracy?
No, because my position is not the same as theirs. I'm willing to play democracy as long as they're willing to play democracy. But I'm not going to play democracy while they play.
You won't defend democracy when another side is attacking it.
One side can't defend civility. It has to be two sides.
So that's just not true. I mean, the way that our system works right now, I guess you are not a fan of this, but when we have a democracy in place, you can win elections, and then you can get rid of all the bad policies and the things that you don't like from the other side. And what I think is that your rhetoric is making it less likely that Democrats are going to win elections. Because if you say the ideal Democratic Party is one which calls for violence against conservatives, or which says it's fine to disobey democratic norms so long as the other side is doing it, then voters don't see a distinction between you and Donald Trump.
Like talking to a brick wall, just insert the gif here of the black dude talking to the gif wall, okay, like to the brick wall, like that's what it is. Anyway,
the end goal is that when the other side sees, oh well, if we do this thing, the other side's kind of responsive to it, so maybe we shouldn't do this thing because it leads to a really bad world. The issue that I have right now,
why don't you try dating your obvious network? I'm too lazy. Also, I can't pull any hoes, okay?
Now is the world that you're advocating for is one where Democrats just continue to, say, okay, well, we're not going to engage in that because we
Can I just, like, spend my day-to-day complaining about how alone I am every day?
want to have some, I guess, moral high ground, some imagined moral high ground, while Republicans engage in the most insane rhetoric possible and don't suffer any electoral losses for it. You keep saying that, like, well, if you engage in the same rhetoric that they do, you're going to lose voters. They won the last election. I don't know what that means. That's like the weaker side saying, if you do this thing that the other guy's doing, you're going to be weaker than he is, and he's already stronger than you. How?
But like you said, there's a difference between retaliation and starting a strategy to begin with. So if all the Democratic voters are voting for you because they believe in democracy and they believe in these norms, you take away the difference between you and Republicans when you start to engage in the same behavior that...
Let me make you a tenor. No, I am fucking devilishly scared of Tinder. As long as you recognize it's self-inflicted, it is self-inflicted, okay? Just let me self-inflict.
They are
okay?
engaging with.
But there's still a difference. The difference is that the Democrats are willing to come back to the table and be adults if the Republicans are.
Let me be comfortable in my misery.
And you say that like you're losing the voters. We already lost the voters. We lost the majority vote in the last election, and the first time in how long for the people that voted in the election. It doesn't seem like they care too much about it. It seems like they're more concerned with an executive that seems like it's championing the interests of the people with, chants like lock her up, than they are about people caring about democratic norms. I think that it feels like the left isn't fighting for the American public when they just allow themselves to be steamrolled over and over and over again by a right whose rhetoric is getting increasingly unhinged.
Okay, so like just to clarify, you think it would be a good thing for Democrats electorally if they were to adopt the same rhetoric that Donald Trump or conservatives are currently using, like on the mass scale?
It would be better than just having them adopt it, yes.
Okay, so you think it's better though than what the Democratic Party is doing currently, which is criticizing Trump and the conservatives for having that type of rhetoric?
Yes, because even an electoral win, I don't think is a real win. When it's 50-50 with like the most authoritarian guy ever, with a guy who's making truths and tweets about having his political opponent.
I think this point is like one of the more important points. I think that people should stop viewing the Biden win as an actual win in 2020. Yeah. The reason why I don't want people to view that as like an actual win anymore is because it's not, right? It's not a reasonable world where we have Donald Trump and like Biden is barely squeezing by. That's not an actual win, right? An actual win is a landslide victory where it is an indication that America is waking up. It is an indication that America is getting a wake-up call, right? If you barely squeeze by like a fucking win, that's not a real win, right?
Is hanged, and then people are like, well, sometimes YouTubers are being kind of mean. Like, this world is not equivalent to me. It's not rational. It's not sane. Like a bare win over a guy who's joking about running for a third term, and he's only joking about it because he's probably not going to survive this term because he's so sick all the time. Sure. I don't think that's a huge political win for us.
Okay, but once again, I don't understand the criticism of Trump wanting Democrats to be hanged. If you think it's fine if a Democrat were to say that Republicans should be hanged, right?
If a guy was holding an explosive over here and I'm holding a weight that's going to drop and hit an explosive over here, if he blows me up, our positions are not the same. If he never blows his dynamite up, I'll never drop the weight and blow mine up. I just watched Terminator 2, so I remember the scene where the guy blew all the people up, right? But you keep saying, Republicans keep making the same mistake saying, you guys have the same position, so now you can't criticize them anymore. My position is responsive to their position.
Sure, but do you think that once you pass that
Biden won Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania. Yeah, but that's not
threshold,
enough for me.
like say once Democrats have done their own January 6th and we have no democracy, you really think you can get back to the system that we had beforehand? That there's an effective way to de-escalate the system after you have engaged in escalating it?
Motherfuckers, say that to the fucking Republicans, mate. Like, why don't you say that to the Republicans? Why are you telling us this? You're telling it to the wrong person.
I think that whatever comes after, even if it's a war, is preferable to a system where the next person thinks that they can act like Donald.
Why doesn't he say it's self-defense? Because he already said it. Because he already said it. He said, He said it was self-defense. That was one of his first go-to examples. Is that it was self-defense, right? Like the stream. Hey, Smile. Hi. Oh my God, Smile. You're like one of the 3 women in this community. That's amazing. Like the stream, true. Like the stream. And you guys should donate too, okay? Please donate. Yeah. Sorry, not 3 anymore. Probably like maybe 5.
Trump 2 and get away with it over and over again. Because right now, the Republicans, in their mind, they should run another candidate that's just like Trump but worse because they haven't even paid any electoral consequences for it.
Stephen, are you calling for a war when you say the next person it's better to have a war?
No, I'm not calling for what I'm calling for. What I would hope is that the president of the United States. I can't even believe that this is like a controversial statement. The president of the United States, if he was a moral human being, a man.
Until women in my community get into voice chat to prove that they are women, I do not count you as one. Okay, you must show that you're one of us boys. Okay, one of us boyos. You don't show up to a gunfight with a knife, true?
With integrity and honor, a leader of men, of people in the United States should be able to say, all of us need to be less violent. That's like the most bare minimum decent statement in the world a person can make. But for some reason, the president can't make that statement, and conservatives are obsessed with criticizing the left anytime they say stuff that's even remotely approaching what the president of the United States is saying on a near daily basis. Public.
It's all fun and games until a girl bullies 7 men in a VC. Well, I mean, you get to take credit for that because I think you probably have a kill count of men at this point, okay? As in, like, people have probably have attributed you to one of the reasons why they left the server. Because of a debate in voice chat, bro. Oh,
on social media in 4K,
Rip.
like all broadcasted to the
Man
whole internet,
killer.
not even said with shame, like behind closed doors.
Okay, well, again, my response to this. So your response is, well, when Democrats do it, it's just in retaliation. When conservatives do it, they started it, right? A conservative would say the exact same thing. Someone like Donald Trump would say, the reason why I'm, making inflammatory statements is because
God, I love a woman who can kick my ass.
Democrats are engaging in political violence because they killed Charlie Kirk and because, they want like Republicans to go to jail and they tried to indict me and all this stuff. So the escalation comes on both sides. You can make the argument from either side.
You can, like, if I stand at the bottom of a building and jump because I feel like I can't fly, and another guy says he can fly and he jumps off the building, there's a difference in truthfulness in these two statements. Republicans can pretend that the escalation has happened on both sides, but the record clearly demonstrates otherwise. Nobody was running around killing cops with a "I'm doing Joe Biden's orders" bumper sticker or whatever, or like "I'm here for Biden, he ordered me to be here." That's not true. All of the unhinged stuff comes from Trump, from the conservatives. The conservatives, the only reason people even know about what people on the left say is because the conservatives will find people on the far left and amplify. The
claim
average
this girl,
remaining person
sure.
doesn't want kitty litter boxes in schools, but Joe Rogan is out here saying that they're all over the place.
But I agree with that. I would say that a lot of the extreme violence that we see does come from the extreme left, from people like, Hassan Piker advocate for violence, for instance. But as I said, you amplify those voices when you yourself support.
Motherfucker, why do you keep saying... Why do you keep saying Hassan Piker? Like, why don't you say, like, fucking any, like, right-wing commentator? Why don't you say Asmongold? Like, motherfucker, like, why do you not say Asmongold? What? Why is your go-to Hassan Piker? Is Hassan Piker even left-leaning? Like, everything that Hassan Piker does, like, it indicates to me that he's actually secretly a Republican. Like, he'll say that he is, want the Democrats to improve, but that's just his, like, public message. In every way, he's, like, a Republican. Like, bro, I'm losing my mind over here. I think she's a conservative. Fuck. I knew it. It's always with a white woman. Oh, fuck.
That violence. I don't think that the violence will be coming from these milquetoast liberals, but it will probably be coming from communists, from socialists, from authoritarians, from people who don't care about democracy fundamentally. And so by making violent statements, you're amplifying the voices of the people that you don't like, which is the extreme left and the extreme right.
Thank you to both debaters.
That was horrible.
Thank you, Hannah. And thank you, Stephen.
Hannah. That's a conservative. It's either a conservative or a she-they. Alright? Yeah. Okay, is there any other, like, good debates from this, or are we good? Bishops get ready for what? What? What do you mean? We just finished. There's no other, like... Wait, what do you mean? Is, like, are you talking about, like, the debate afterwards? Hello, Magnus. The next debater? Wait, what? Is it worth watching? Vegan debate? Nah, I think I'm good. I don't want, no, I think I'm good. Fuck that. Hannah getting piped right now? Wooya. Bro, can you stop? Okay, listen. Okay, I can't apply the rules, like, differently just because you're radiant, okay? I'm sorry. Like, bro, can you just, like, can people just stop being fucking weird? Stop. Just, bro, dude, please. There are children watching. Okay. God, why can't people just not be weird? Okay. Only I'm allowed to be misogynist, okay? Because when I'm being misogynist, I'm not actually being misogynist. You meant Darius's Hannah? Oh, really? What? Darius has a girlfriend named Hannah? What? Like, coincidentally? Sort of a DG joke? Oh. Well, maybe you should clarify next time, okay? There will be no next time. Okay, okay. You know what, Radiant? I'll just time you out for like, I don't know, 30 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. There you go. Okay, bam. I didn't know that it was an inside joke. I didn't know that was an inside joke. My bad. 5 minutes time out. Okay, whatever. I don't care. Wait, what's the new character? New Night Ring characters. The Scholar and the Undertaker. Oh my god, the Undertaker is a woman. What does she look like? Oh, fuck. Night Ring Wiki. Nightfarers. Undertaker. Weapon preferences. Hammer? What the fuck? Is this small girl with big hammer type meme? Implying the debate, vegan debate was up, but a Q&A after the last debate is kind of cute? Oh, okay. Why was it cute? That sounds parasocial. People spam Hannah getting piped right now to make him upset. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Okay, I fully support it now, okay? E6, she's 0? No way. Bro, okay, I am tired. I'm tired of these big booba women in this game, okay? I'm tired of big booba women. Can people stop being into big booba women, okay? This needs to stop right now, okay? They are not attractive, okay? They are not sexy, okay? They freak me out. They're grotesque, okay? I don't like big booba women, okay? Stop with this shit. Stop! Stop! Why are they... Why do they look like strippers? Bro, you know, I'm not even talking about like fucking lolly, okay? I'm not talking about lolly. I'm talking about like regular size boobs. Hello? Like, I'm talking about like actual fucking regular size boobs. Like, why the fuck? This is. Oh, okay, because she's covered, okay? It doesn't matter. This is too much. This is ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous, okay? Bro, the newest character looks redonkulous, okay? Absolute, like, just actually the most redonkulous, like, looking motherfucker. Bro, what the fuck is this? This is not real. This is not a real character, okay? You cannot move with these balloons, okay? It's not possible. It is physically not possible, okay? No body shame. I am body shaming, okay? Wait, also, not only that, don't people body shame like flat motherfuckers all the time? Like, isn't that like an entire trend? Okay, whatever. It's difficult. I'm talking about goon bait, okay? Obviously, I'm not gonna shame some motherfucker IRL, okay? Obviously, I'm not gonna do that. Bro, I'm just talking about the goon bait in this game. The goon bait is The Gunbei is always towards big booba, okay? Occasional big booba, I'm like, okay, fine, I tolerate it, okay? But if it's too much big booba, I'm just like, bro, this is sickening. The next 3 characters are probably gonna be big booba. Stop doing this. It's just, please, okay? It's not funny. It's not cool. It's not, oh, ooh woo, and my enemu waifu body pillow. Stop, okay? It's not attractive to me, okay? Anyway. Okay. I need to take some deep breaths. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm calm. I stopped playing ZZ because they stopped making husbandos. Sure. Oh yeah, we didn't finish. Okay, first we do this. Uh-oh. Here we go. Legal Eagle hit piece. Okay? Legal Eagle versus Dr. Phil hit piece. Now, out of nowhere, absolutely out of nowhere, I'm pretty sure this got linked only after I revealed that
Tell yourself that.
I actually contacted a Dr. Phil guest one time. And the Dr. Phil guest was the pedophile that came on and said that, oh, he was never offending, he doesn't offend, he has a wife around his age, like they were both like in their seniors. And someone posted this in response to that. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. And I'm like, you know what? Foodshop's just not reacting to DGers in the post-debate Yale Q&A. Okay, how many of these DGers are actually in the DG chat? Like, how much of them watch me? I'll watch them if they watch us, okay? I'll watch them if they watch my stream, all right? Is that the answer you want? Or... Bro, we gotta watch this. 34-minute video. Okay, wait. Fine. 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 You fucking peer pressure me. Hope you're happy.
Weird, like,
nerd.
Like
nice to
causing the suffering to another.
that like you're gonna hear like a weird echo, and then I'll repeat the question.
Scroll up? What do you mean? I made character models specifically. Oh, cool,
Actually,
thanks.
wait, real quick. You could just take this mic down there if you want. You just have to take it back because it's taped down a little bit. And then you can ask your first one and I'll repeat it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Where? What do you want me to look at? Hello? I just want girls to not wear bikinis anymore in my fucking gacha games. Okay, please, you can't be going into a post-apocalyptic like environment wearing like bikini. Okay, it's like fucking bikini. Stop. This needs to stop. Okay, can't you wear anything practical for once? Anyway.
Okay. All right,
Sorry
speak
about
loudly.
that.
Go ahead.
Should I start from the beginning or should I?
Yeah, you
just
said
keep
in
going?
my debate with Ben Shapiro, one of the largest
So you got a
concessions.
concession that Trump
As
is
immersion
great on a
breaking,
curve.
yes. Yes.
I agree with this proposition, but I want
Play Limbus Company. That's why I love Limbus Company, actually. Limbus Company! Yeah, that's why I love Limbus Company, okay? Yeah, no. Except that they release no content.
wanted to ask what this kind of means
Where's my
for,
content?
in a sense, the future of politics.
Hello?
Will there be, if in a sense the right ends up producing a similar candidate or a candidate on the level of Trump, what will things look like for the upcoming 2028 election or the midterms in the 2026 upcoming election, and specifically targeted towards voters that are disinterested or disengaged with politics just because they see how much Trump has made things very trivial?
So when you ask like where the future of politics is going, the reason why it's hard to
I
see
feel his stuff
beyond
for
where we're at
content.
right now
Oh
is
my-
because I don't know how much we can possibly do and I don't know how much damage we can undo. So I think the issue that you run into is when you tell somebody that they can behave in a certain way, you set a new standard for how they'll behave. And if you allow somebody to push this boundary, if we're from 0 to 100 and the boundary is normally at 50, if they push it like all the way to 99, you're going to have to fight to bring it back to like 95, let alone back to the 50 where you would want it to be. So Republicans have just been unhinged for a long time. You know, they talk about how evil it is that we call conservatives fascists now. And I remember Michael Savage and Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Billy Cunningham and all these.
Jesse Waters right now.
Well, yeah, it's like screaming like communist, socialist, or whatever. So, like, the issue is that, like, now, obviously, I do it in a far more inflammatory way. You know, saying basically, like, well, if you're going to act like this, then the other side could act like this, and I don't think you want that. So maybe we should all like take a step back and go back to where we're all being like nice to each other, because that's a better world for everybody. But we have to find a way to one is to it really is such a boring topic, but it goes back to this misinformation thing, because something that my one of the
Bro, dude, you can't come to the table with someone who is like pro raping America, right? Like you can't come to the table with people who are pro raping America, right? Like pro raping that actual fundamental system that lies underneath. If their actual goal is to, via populist support, attack the establishment and undermine democracy in favor of authoritarian rule, you can't come to the table with these people. You cannot. Okay? I'm not just talking about like policies, trying to get a bill passed or something. Whatever, man. Do what you need to do in that moment. Okay? I'm talking about overall. Overall, you must oust these people from power, drive these vermin into the ground, cast them down the pits of Tartarus from whence they fucking crawled from. Only then can we finally be freed from this nightmare.
debate opponents brought up earlier related to the rhetoric thing is, well, the other side thinks that the liberals have already done this. And that's an issue. That's a fact-based issue. Yeah. And as long as one side has been able to hijack like what is real and what is true in so many people's minds, if I can invent the past for you, I can justify any future I want because I can show you these things have happened and these people have justified it. Therefore, you're justified in acting the same. So I would hope that politics somewhat goes back to normal, but it's going to require half the country to completely wake up from the Delulu land they've been living in under Trump too, that we're only not even 1 year into. Yeah. And then it's going to require us to acknowledge as a country, there's a lot of foreign players that have a big motivation in how our politics plays out. And there's a lot of bad incentives that exist right now in the United States that the average person can't navigate our media landscape and expect to see what's real and true because we just don't naturally select for that. We select for things that make us feel good.
Agreed.
Okay,
awesome.
Thanks.
I'd love to debate you sometime.
Sure. You should have signed up for this.
That's true. Dude, you can hear us like fading
Steven,
voice.
Thanks so much. So I'm not a vegan, but I was kind of surprised about some of these answers, and I kind of want to go down at least one.
Oh my god! Can we not?
Sure.
Can we just not?
So you seem to privilege human sentience and qualify it with abstract reasoning.
Okay, this needs to stop. Okay, this gay ass vegan type shit. Okay, needs to stop right meow. Okay, I am tired, sick, and tired of these vegans coming in to make every debate a vegan debate, okay? You people are worthless, okay? You guys are probably a bunch of leftists as well who don't even vote. Why should I give you people any kind of moral consideration in any way whatsoever? You people are scum of the earth, actual insects to be crushed under my boot.
Over phenomenological consciousness. And the type of consciousness where we know is conserved in animals, where the nociceptors are the same, the thalamocortical loops are the same, the limbic systems are the same, the mechanics of misery are the same, the inference that the capacity for suffering is conserved, you don't seem to actually address these sorts of arguments around why shouldn't we care about this. You sort of answer, well, they're not human.
I mean, there seems to be something different in kind to the human mental experience than there is to the animal mental experience. I mean, we can point to a lot of similar structures and a lot of similar, underlying mechanisms, but for some reason, things like culture, things like morality, things like, complex thought and speech have just never emerged. So it seems like there's significantly something different in kind there. Now, would I say that there's like a 100% chance that there's no conscious experience happening that is happening in a mind like ours? I mean, I can't say that with certainty, but I think that the vegans opponents overstate their argument and saying, well, there's enough similarity here that for sure they definitely get more consideration.
Well, to be fair, it doesn't seem like the similarities that is being stated there isn't the fact that they're the same or they're able to do tax code or write speeches and stuff like that, but the capacity to actually suffer is the thing that is conserved. And the fact that things are different and there's something different in the complexity of our behavior doesn't seem to be warrant for torturing people.
I mean, maybe not. I guess you could explore that further. I would argue that suffering is generally bad for people, but I think that we just kind of like take that for granted because of how our lives exist today. Like, I mean, I could hypothesize like the ideal optimal human life would be at 10 years old, you continually take enough morphine or something until eventually you die in like some euphoric blissed out state of drug overdosedness. And, you know, if you're just graphing somebody's life in terms of like optimal happiness, it's probably about as happy as you could be. But I don't think that would be a very satisfying answer to a lot of.
Yes, I will genocide every livestock animal because I like how it tastes. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I wouldn't even call it a genocide. You assume the only reason why you would call something a genocide is because number one, you would automatically imply that is morally wrong, right? Like with the definition of genocide, you automatically the inherency of its badness is baked into the definition, right? Number two, I cannot genocide things that I would consider to not have the same moral consideration as a human being, right? Like, so I probably wouldn't even say like, yeah, a genocide of animals wouldn't even be possible for me, right? Because that doesn't fit. They don't fit my definition of like moral consideration, right? Yeah. Anyway.
People in terms of satisfying like a person's life. Like, I don't think that we measure like pain and suffering and like happiness and joy on just this like very collapsed axis of like, are you in pain or not in pain?
Well, it seems like what we. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sure. Or you can do one last thing, I guess, or I feel bad.
There's a lot of. I shouldn't say that. It seems what we do instead of like a very simple description, like you just said, is we care about the capacity for the experience there and put that the foremost what we consider. So if we learned that like some action.
You know how some animals fuck. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me think about what I want to say here. You know how vegans sometimes say that animals can have the same intelligence as a baby human? The question you need to ask is this, okay? Would you sacrifice that same animal in that same condition to save the life of a baby human? If their answer is no, if their answer is, I would not sacrifice an animal to save the life of a baby human, then there is no debate to be had. They are fucking delusional, okay? There's no debate to be had and they're fucking delusional, okay? Period, all right? Yeah, if they're actually reasonable, they'll say yes. I think it like sacrificing the animal's life for the baby is worth it, okay?
Or some peanut butter is now causing cancer to kids. It's that knowledge that actually invites the moral obligation to do something about it. It's the capacity.
Make it 100 animals versus one baby human. Everyone chooses the human. No. It's whatever they. It's whatever they deem to be. It's whatever they deem to be like, oh, the equivalent of like a human, right? Because they always do this. They always do the equivalency thing. They always do the equivalency thing where they say, well, I mean, the animal brain at this stage is equivalent to a human baby brain at this stage or something, right? Just to try to get you to guilt trip you into thinking like, oh yeah, you consuming meat is bad or whatever. By the way, there's a bunch of reasons why that argument doesn't work, but the easiest way you can counter it is just by saying, well, then you have to answer this hypothetical, okay? Would you sacrifice the animal to save the baby human, right? And would you sacrifice the baby human to save the animal, right? Like that would be like my go-to. But anyway.
To actually
you don't even need to say 100 animals. Like at that point, like yeah,
on some other
you don't need to do that.
Entity that we really
don't make it more complicated.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Hi, Destiny. My name's Arik. I'm a bit of a fan, but my question is, since we can use history to help direct our future, where do you see the root of the collective psychosis of the right? Like, how do we prevent another Trump 30, 40, or whatever years from now? What was wrong with our country that led to all of this?
So that this is like a question that will probably be studied for a long time, and there's going to be people way smarter than me that have answers to this. But like I would argue that a big thing that happened was, I would say in a way, like a microcosm or a macrocosm. Like the argument that I had earlier of like, well, you don't want to be just like them, that's like a microcosm of, I think, what's happened with liberals and conservatives over the past like 30 years of this country, to where liberals have been expected to govern both like morally and in a way where they can communicate the rightness of what they're doing, and conservatives have just been expected to kind of show up and then just like do their song and dance, and however they govern, who actually cares? Although now they don't even have to show up and dance. Now they just get on social media, or they hide on military bases and they tweet unhinged stuff. So for example, like when I look like historically, if you want to talk about the economy, really if you want to talk about anything, I don't think it's an accident that we had a massive economic collapse at the end of the Bush regime, where we had the 2007-2008 global financial crisis, and then Obama has to come in at the tail end of that, clean all of that up, right the American economy, and then get everything working again. And then for some reason, after 2 terms of that, then Trump gets to come in, right off all of that. Even though things like his illegal immigration was higher than Obama's ever was before COVID hit, his budget deficits were increasingly past where Obama's was when Obama left office. None of that mattered. COVID came in. His response was terrible. I'm not saying it should have been a perfect response, but like it was measurably terrible in a ton of different ways. He lied about the number of infections. He constantly downplayed it. He admitted to downplaying it. And then after Trump was gone, then a liberal, Biden, had to come in, clean things up, kind of like right the ship, get things going again. And then now a Republican president is coming again and is like making a mess of things. When you have a world where one side is expected to lead and govern and has to act in a moral way, and the other side gets to come in and just knock everything over, and we're not allowed to tell ourselves an honest history of what happened, at the end of the day, you are destroying people's ability to learn and to actually have informed decisions going forward about what they want their leadership to look like. Because the collective delusion we have to live in is, I would argue, I'm not trying to argue too much for the other speaker because it's weird they're not up here, but like this, they say, like, well, you guys need to be more civil. It's not fair when you do the same things they're doing. I would argue that thought process has driven liberal politics for the past 2 decades, and it's why we're here now, because we've allowed the other side to live in this delusional fantasy land where they think they've governed appropriately, like the Democrats have, but they haven't. They've made a mess of things constantly, and we're constantly expected to pretend otherwise, and I think that's why we're where we're at right now.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Destiny.
Hi.
So we agree on a lot, so I want to do something a little spicy. So
the light and the audio quality is so much better. Holy shit. Okay, thank you. Yeah. The
in the vegan debate, it seems to
That's
me
also-
that you're removing
Oh my God.
animals, like entirely from your moral framework. So I'm wondering, how do you justify animal cruelty?
Because ain't nobody got time for that, bro. Cause nobody got time for that. Who the fuck has time to address these questions when the downfall of democracy is happening? Like, it's just like the Holocaust is going on, and you're like, well, what about the pain and suffering of cats? Like, what the fuck, dude, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Laws. It seems the way you did it in the debate was by saying that it predicts behavior in the future, but it seems to me that that's not really how our criminal law works. Like, we don't try to criminalize things because we predict that someone will do something.
Bro, this is how you know these motherfuckers are privileged, okay? How you know these motherfuckers are privileged is when they insert animal rights into every argument made. They insert animal rights into every argument. That's how you know they're privileged. Because people who are not privileged would never question this shit. It's crazy.
Negative acts
anyway.
in the future.
I don't know if I would justify animal cruelty laws. There's a lot that goes into that. It's an intuitive thing that a lot of people just have a feeling about. But but I am who I am. So, but I don't know. Like, I think, like, I always make fun of people that are meat eaters that get like really mad about Cecil the lion or some dog or cat being, killed when they're totally content eating chicken nuggets and cheeseburgers all day. I think it's a huge hypocrisy from some people. There's also laws against, sodomy all over the place, and there's probably a lot of.
It's just that people can't think of it. Like, it's because people don't think about it all that much. Like straight up. All right. Like, straight up, people do not think about it. Okay. Like, that's literally it. Okay. Bro, it's so simple. Okay. Dogs and cats have evolved to be cute and fluffy, and humans have evolved to love them, okay? It's really as simple as that, okay? So therefore, you would automatically assign a greater degree of care and love to these animals that are commonly accepted in society as like cute, lovable, and fluffy, okay? So, but then when you're eating hamburgers or some shit, you're not thinking about where it's coming from because it's just a hamburger. You grew up with it, right? But when you actually think about it, you're like, okay, what makes a cat or a dog fundamentally different from a cow, right? Like, again, it's so stupid. God damn, bro. Just it's not even an important question, okay? The right answer is well, then therefore that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing that, hey, I do view cats and dogs as more superior than cows because they are like made to be superior in a sense where I find them fluffy and cute, right? Like then the ones that aren't fluffy and cute, they get cold, right? Or anything like that. Then fine, okay? It's just like, dude, it's just not, who cares? Who cares about the subject? This subject's stupid, okay? Anyway.
Laws that I couldn't justify personally, so, yeah.
Okay, so you don't agree with animal cruelty laws?
I don't know. Like, if insofar as they might be predictive of crazy future behavior, maybe I don't know if we ever have any other law like that. I'm not sure. I guess I don't think, but yeah, I'm kind of indifferent to all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's consistent. Thanks.
And for our final question,
gotta save the best for last.
Hi.
Hello, Stephen. Thank you for visiting us here today at Yale. And I'd like to ask you if the average American suddenly became significantly smarter and more emotionally intelligent, how do you think political communication and strategy would have to adapt? Also, how do you think the current American populace, mainly non-politicians, would look back at the current administration's actions and rhetoric and put that down in the history books?
Man, that's a hard one. If we all, I mean, Joe Rogan and Candace Owens would immediately lose 90% of their audience, I would say, is the first thing. No. I don't know. That's a hard one. If everybody, well, because it's also kind of a selfish thing because obviously we all imagine ourselves to be the enlightened ones, in terms of what everything would, everybody would look like me or think like me. The thing, I'll speak about it in this way. The thing that I think that we lose the most is that I don't necessarily think everybody needs to agree with me on everything, but there are some things that we should agree on, like ways to arrive like at epistemically sound positions, being able to evaluate news and stuff, and we should be able to have an argument over things where the conversation is rooted in like actual real fact, and then we can have a debate on where things should go from there. So I think it's an interesting conversation about like housing, or COVID is one that I bring up a lot, right? Were the lockdowns too aggressive? Should there have been vaccine mandates or not? I think that there are really compelling arguments between intellectually honest people on both sides of that conversation. There's something to be said for like, can the government really tell me that I have to inject something into my body? Like that's a statement that a lot of people just assume is, well, no, I'm completely anti-government mandates, but that's not true. If there was a virus that, lurked silently in your body for 2 weeks and then had a 90% kill rate, I think the most libertarian person in the world would say you absolutely need to mandate.
Is Fushov shit lagging for anyone else? I thought it was on my end. There is 0.7% drop frames, which isn't really that much drop frames. I'm not entirely sure what could be wrong. Let me see if I turn down here. How about this? Okay, let me turn down the settings from high to drop frames a tiny bit, but it's barely noticeable. Let me do it to medium. Okay, how about this? I changed it to medium. No, it's on Kick. Once again, it's on Kick. Okay, Kick is always having issues. If you watch on Kick, you get no ads. Okay, there's no ad. I don't get any ad revenue, but you also get no like ads there. Right, but then Kick seems to be more unstable than YouTube. That's just how
vaccines, or I should be able to kill you if I think you're infected. Like people would go to that level. But then, when the disease becomes less significant, people start to pretend their principles are changing when it's actually more like an outcome-oriented question. So yeah, I think the biggest thing that we've lost by not being a little bit more, I don't know if you call them emotionally or intellectually intelligent about things, but we've lost the ability to debate policy, and we're just constantly getting stuck on debating reality. Is it Ukraine's fault that Russia invaded rather than, what are the reasons why both sides might be fighting with each other and what should
debate
be
reality?
Or is Israel like a bloody apartheid state that's only interested in genociding as many Arabs as possible? Or is there a complicated interplay between the history of both of these people that other players
because I'm stuttering hard, bro. When are you not stuttering hard? Like seriously, just when are you not stuttering? Like I'm sorry, not to be disrespectful here, okay? You're always stuttering, okay? When are you not starting is the real
nationally
question.
have fit into in a negative sense in both sides, and like what can we do to alleviate the suffering, especially on the Palestinian side. I think I would imagine looking back on this era, the biggest disagreement or the biggest issue is that you're not having like real conversations about literally anything. All of my debate that I had 3 days ago with a couple lawyers about the Venezuelan boat strikes, one guy was screeching that shipwrecks aren't blown up ships, they're just ships that get wrecked like in Pirates of the Caribbean, they like crash on rocks. And I'm like, this isn't a real conversation. This is the most delusional stuff I've ever heard in my entire life. And every single conversation is like that. Why did you pardon this one guy who's this crypto billionaire? I don't even know who you're talking about. And then Trump just moves on. So yeah, I think that's the biggest issue, is our inability to even have a back and forth on things. Because I'm not right on everything, just like 99% of things. But like I recognize that there are people that could disagree with me on the other side, and then we can have like an interesting convo back and forth, rather than us having to argue. Is the Earth flat, or did we go to the moon, or is the French government really putting hits out on Candace Owens, or is Macron's wife actually another husband? And it's just so stupid. Yeah, and these are the most popular podcasters on the planet. It's really sad, I think. Yeah.
Beautifully said. Thank you.
Thank you very much.